In that instant, not only did the Blue Dream Dao Sovereign, but nearly all the third-step great powers within the ancient star of antiquity also felt a change in their expressions. They all raised their heads to the sky, their faces dark with grimness. Located within the ancient star of antiquity, the part of the ancient immortal domain that split off from it was a place few knew of. At this moment, within this ancient domain, several women also opened their eyes from seclusion, looking upwards. In a wild starfield within the ancient star of antiquity, a massive figure was charging forward at an incredible speed. This figure was earth-shattering. It was Tuo Sin. His eyes were bloodshot, and his right hand was frantically striking his forehead. The booming sounds echoed far and wide. To enslave this god? You're dreaming. This god stands at the peak of all beings, and you, a mere cultivator, dare to enslave me, to seize my soul? A foolish dream. Come out. Come out. Madness flashed in Tuo Sin's eyes, and his roar resonated with madness. Suddenly, Tuo Sin's body trembled, and all his movements ceased. He abruptly raised his head, his blood-red eyes locking onto the starry sky above. The aura of my kin. This aura is so familiar, so familiar. I feel like I recognize it. No, it's 2C who recognizes it. The voice echoed in Wang Lin's ears like a thunderclap. However, his hands remained tightly gripped around the indestructible thunder, refusing to loosen. On the contrary, the moment the voice appeared, he growled and forcefully pulled outward again. Ridiculous. Do you think I, Wang, will let go just because you say so? No matter who you are, this indestructible thunder is mine. If you persist, don't blame me for being ruthless. The deep, muffled sound from the vortex transformed into an enraged roar. It seemed that Wang Lin's words had contradicted this mysterious existence, causing it to unleash its fury. As it became enraged, the starry sky rumbled, and lightning flashed wildly inside the vortex. The swirling vortex accelerated, as if a great force was about to burst out. Wang Lin felt this fury clearly, and a cold glint flickered in his eyes. Anger. If my fire origin is perfected, with just your boundless fury right now, I could make you backfire and burn yourself. Even if you don't die, you will be severely injured. Wang Lin gripped the indestructible thunder without hesitation. With the full force of his ancient god power surging, he wildly pulled downward. The part of the thunder that had entered the vortex was being pulled out bit by bit, nearing complete extraction. The roar from the vortex intensified, still tearing at the thunder, but it was clear that it could not withstand Wang Lin's ancient god power. Rebellious Void Destroyer, the descendants of the ancient god clan punished by the void. If it weren't for the familiarity of your aura, I would have destroyed you long ago. Since you seek death now, I will grant it. The voice, as powerful as heavenly might, boomed, and at the moment it echoed, the massive vortex in the center shattered, black energy pouring out, transforming into two enormous hands that ripped apart the surroundings. In a thunderous crash, the swirling vortex was forcefully torn open by these hands. The gap revealed nothing but endless darkness, but from within, a rough arm suddenly shot out. The moment the arm appeared, it caused the starry sky to collapse as though it didn't belong in this world. As it descended, Wang Lin was struck as if by lightning. His eyes turned crimson in an instant, and he faintly recognized the arm. He recognized it because, long ago, over 1,000 years ago, he had seen it, fought it, in a scene that he would never forget for the rest of his life. At that time, he was ignorant of cultivation and the secrets of both the inner and outer realms. But now, after so many years, after 1,000 years of experience, every time he recalled that scene, it would send a shock through his spirit. A frenzied thought exploded from Wang Lin's body. He stared at the arm, and with a heartbreaking voice, shouted, "It's you. The ones who took Muin's soul from my hands on Vermilion Birdstar. The heavenly Dao invoice." Wang Lin's voice, usually cold and steady, was now filled with madness, like a wild beast, shaking the hearts of all who saw his face. A cold snort came from within the vortex, and the arm slammed down, aiming straight for Wang Lin with terrifying force. Lightning crackled along the arm, making it seem as though it were a bolt of thunder. In an instant, the arm was nearly upon Wang Lin, covering the sky and stars, ready to strike down. At this moment, Wang Lin had completely lost control. His entire life had one weakness. Anything related to Li Muin was enough to shatter his composure. Without hesitation, his hands released their grip on the thunder, and he charged straight toward that arm. As he moved forward, the power of the ancient god erupted explosively from his entire being, and within an instant, his cultivation level was burning wildly inside him. Behind him, a massive ancient god phantom materialized, shaking the heavens and earth and exuding a might that seemed to tremble the very starry sky. This is 2C. A shocked voice emanated from within the swirling vortex. Fire. Wang Lin's eyes glinted with boundless madness. He abruptly raised his left hand, and immediately, a flicker of blue flame appeared in his left pupil, erupting forth in a roar that enveloped his body. Instantly, a blue vermilion bird took shape, releasing a powerful cry. In that cry, the flames expanded rapidly, instantly spreading endlessly, with blue light flashing and fire merging into a vast sea. Thunder. At the flickering of lightning in Wang Lin's right eye, the origin mark immediately transformed. At the same time, the colossal thunder dragon that had been lingering below roared towards the heavens, rushing directly towards Wang Lin, surrounding his body. It combined spectacularly with the vermilion bird, like a dragon and phoenix intertwining, one thunder, one fire, unleashing divine abilities that stunned the earth and sky. Battle. Wang Lin bellowed, bloodlight flashing, as the blood sword materialized before him, expanding in an instant into a 100-foot-long blade, which he grasped tightly in his hand. The moment he seized the blood sword, the ancient god phantom behind him also raised its right hand. Roaring, a blood-red glow flickered in its hand as an illusory, thousands of feet-long blood sword appeared in an instant. At that moment, all the ancient god power surged into Wang Lin's right hand, flowing into the blood sword. The endless blue sea of flames surrounding his body instantly compressed and fused into the blood sword, and even the blue vermilion bird became part of the blood sword with its anguished cry. Simultaneously, the gigantic thunder dragon roared fiercely and dove into Wang Lin's body. He acted like a black hole, instantly absorbing the massive thunder dragon and merging it frantically into the blood sword. The fusion of thunder and fire, the explosive power of the ancient god, combined with the spinning star of law on Wang Lin's brow, filled him with overwhelming fighting spirit. In that instant, he swung his arm forward with tremendous force. The sky and earth rumbled as an indescribable wave pulsed outward violently. Below, the sacred land crumbled in an instant, turning into countless fragments. The 16 cultivation stars in the distance appeared to be pushed away by the impact, moving outward as their trajectories changed under the booming sound. With the sword, he slashed through the heavens. The bloodlight was dazzling, becoming the only brilliance in the starry sky. As the blade swept across, the arm that reached for Wang Lin trembled instantly, fingers twitching, as a line of blood suddenly appeared at the wrist. With one stroke, the hand separated from the arm and fell with a thunderous crash, blood spraying forth. A muffled scream emerged from within the vortex, and the arm was hastily retracted. However, the momentum of the blood sword's strike did not dissipate. Instead, it surged upward, heading straight for the colossal vortex. As the sword swept past, the vortex shook violently, but there was no damage, only the spinning speed increased, as if struck by immense force, creating a dent momentarily. The severed arm retracted as the vortex vanished from the starry sky, as if it had never existed. As it began to dissipate, Wang Lin stepped forward, holding the blood sword, his eyes blazing red as he charged towards the vortex once more. He slashed down with incredible force. The blood sword was indestructible, yet at this moment, no matter how wildly he swung, it couldn't shake the vortex even a little. He stared helplessly as the vortex slowly dissipated, hearing the roars and growls echoing from within. How could you possess this sword, this sword? The voice gradually faded away along with the vortex, while Wang Lin's final attack fell upon the place the vortex used to be, slicing through empty air. I don't care who you are or where you come from. One day, I, Wang Lin, will break through this world and ascend above. You all took my wife's soul when I had yet to achieve Tao, leaving her with such an end. This grudge is unforgivable. Wang Lin's expression twisted with fury. This was the first time he felt genuine rage and madness since arriving at the ancient star of antiquity. Everything happened so quickly that it was almost impossible to react in an instant. Even the indestructible thunder didn't have time to enter the vortex before it abruptly ended, the vortex dissipating, leaving behind that indelible indestructible thunder in the starry sky. Wang Lin suddenly turned, staring at the indestructible thunder. Having been severely wounded by a 7-foot-long sword made from 7 million heavens, it was now extremely weak. Under the previous impact of Wang Lin's frenzy, as he looked on, the thunder roared, and the indestructible thunder seemed to possess a consciousness of its own, retreating rapidly. Where do you think you're going? Wang Lin's anger still burned as he took a single step forward, instantly appearing in front of the indestructible thunder, raising his right hand to grasp fiercely. The indestructible thunder roared from within, no longer retreating, but charging directly at Wang Lin. However, in the blink of an eye, Wang Lin seized it with his right hand. The thunder struggled violently, but as soon as Wang Lin gripped it, he immediately opened his mouth and swallowed it forcefully. The thunder was instantly devoured by him. Refining this thunder, refining the souls of 8 primordial thunder dragons, collecting the elder's primordial spirit to summon the companion thunder, my thunder origin is complete. My cultivation will increase. After absorbing the weakened, yet still existent indestructible thunder, Wang Lin suppressed the madness rising in his heart due to the reappearance of the heavenly Tao envoy, as well as the sadness that filled his mind thinking of Li Muan. With a flick of his sleeve, the hand of the heavenly Tao envoy immediately landed in front of him. After the hand was severed, it no longer had flesh but had turned into a crystal, resembling a hand-shaped gemstone, radiating dazzling light. After a brief glance, Wang Lin's eyes narrowed sharply. There were no palm lines on this hand. Human palms always have palm lines, no matter how high their cultivation. It would be impossible to erase them. Could it be that the heavenly Tao envoys have no palm lines? Wang Lin's gaze flickered as he stored the crystalline hand in his storage space. When he turned around, he immediately saw the Lightning Thunder Clan members who dared not approach from a distance. Retracting his gaze, Wang Lin took a step forward, preparing to leave the Lightning Thunder Clan. As for what happened here, the Lightning Thunder Clan's future would be handled by scattered spirits. It had no further connection to him, Wang Lin. Just as Wang Lin was about to leave, one of the cultivators among those from afar seemed to have hesitated and struggled for a long time. With gritted teeth, he immediately flashed out, his body surrounded by starlight, stepping on what seemed like a shuttle, heading straight toward Wang Lin. Master, do you still remember me? The cultivator trembled as he spoke these words, which was akin to betraying the Lightning Thunder Clan. Despite the clan being in crisis, he could very well be killed by his own people first, at great cost. But for the conviction in his heart, he couldn't care much. Damn it, a person's life must have some choices. It depends on how my fate unfolds. Staying here means death, and following the master is the same. Exile the clan if you must. I don't care anymore. Wang Lin paused in his steps and turned around with a cold gaze. His eyes locked on the cultivator, and immediately, the man shuddered. With gritted teeth, he hurriedly said, Master, I'm Zhong Dahong. Zhong as in the little Zhong, Hong as in the little Hong. I'm Zhong Dahong, Master. Once a servant, always a servant. Master, don't leave me behind. I'm willing to serve by your side, follow you for life, and never betray you. You want to follow me? Wang Lin's expression remained indifferent as he slowly spoke. Zhong Dahong quickly flew out a little farther to avoid being attacked by his own kin. Upon hearing Wang Lin's words, he nodded frantically, repeating, Master, as long as you let me follow, I'll do anything. Murder, arson, robbery. I'm good at all of it. No worse than Suligua. Master, give me a chance, Master. Wang Lin's gaze flickered as he swept a glance at Zhong Dahong. Then with a flick of his sleeve, a windstorm swept Zhong Dahong into the storage space to join Suligua. Wang Lin then took a step, crossing the starry sky, and appeared at the location where scattered spirits and several Lightning Thunder Clan cultivators in the decay tribulation of heaven and man were battling. At this place, divine powers rumbled and shockwaves spread. As soon as Wang Lin appeared, his eyes flashed with red light. The extreme realm transformed into red lightning and howled out. This red lightning moved too fast, immediately sweeping across and entering a first decay of heaven and man cultivator's body, shattering his primordial spirit as it pierced through his back. It then entered the forehead of a second decay of heaven and man cultivator, causing his head to explode before passing through. Friend scattered spirit, take care. I must take my leave. Wang Lin stepped forward again, retracting the extreme realm, and immediately vanished into the starry sky, leaving no trace behind. His appearance, instantly killing 2 cultivators, caused the Lightning Thunder Clan members engaged in battle with Scattered Spirit to be struck with fear. Scattered Spirit laughed loudly and spoke. Brother Wang, farewell. I had a premonition. We will meet again one day. When we meet again, you will be greatly surprised. Wang Lin's voice echoed from the void, though he had already long since left, exiting the Lightning Thunder Clan's star domain. Greatly surprised? Scattered Spirit was confused, but at this moment, he couldn't think much about it. He unleashed his divine powers and began his revenge against the remaining Lightning Thunder Clan members. In the Ancient Star, Wang Lin moved rapidly through the starry sky, his aura gradually shrinking until it was almost imperceptible. By the end, he had completely blended in, resembling an ordinary mortal. The 5 fundamental origins in his body stirred and mixed, preventing any trace of his aura from escaping. If a third-step great power searches for me, it should be quite easy for them to find me. However, with my origins, I can stir the chaos and find a place with many people, making it easier to hide. If someone truly searches for me, I should be able to evade them for a while. The key right now is to quickly refine the thunder. Wang Lin's gaze flickered, and with a single step, he shrank the distance, appearing at a cultivation star after several moves. This cultivation star was home to a small clan from the Ancient Stars. There were many mortals here, bustling and full of life, especially in the capital city, where the streets were crowded with millions of people, their voices echoing with vitality. When he appeared, his hair turned black and was tied with a headband, wearing a white robe with a fan in hand, resembling a scholar. As he stepped forward, he entered this unfamiliar mortal world. The streets were filled with people coming and going. Unlike the Vermilion Bird Star, there was no tension between men and women here. Some looked heroic and poised, while others were elegantly dressed, giving the scene a lively, bustling feel. The shops on either side of the streets were packed, with little room to spare. As Wang Lin passed by, he heard the voice of a storyteller coming from a nearby tavern. And now, let's talk about the immortal cultivator Yu Huan from the True Word clan, whose personality is strange, and who loves to wander in the mortal world. Countless tales about him have spread, and it is even said that his dual cultivation partner, Chu Weixin, met him in this way. Today, we'll talk about how these two immortals met. It's an enticing story, so listen closely, everyone. Wang Lin couldn't help but smile. It was amusing to see the mortals of this ancient star city discussing cultivators in such detail. Although most of it was fabricated, it was clear that the locals were not unfamiliar with the idea of cultivation. As soon as he entered the city, Wang Lin didn't need to use his divine sense. He could already sense the presence of several cultivators within the city. Even in this tavern, there were a man and a woman deeply engrossed in the story, and especially near the Eastern Imperial City, there were nearly 100 cultivators. This is even better. The vitality here is more chaotic, and with my origin hidden, I should be fine for a short time. This will be enough for me to refine the thunder. Once it's fully absorbed into my primordial spirit, I don't know how much my cultivation will increase. Wang Lin's expression remained calm as he glanced at the tavern and walked away. In this city, there was a unique object called alum crystal. It was used by mortals as currency, much like silver. This crystal was of no use to cultivators, but because of its brilliance and rarity, it circulated as money. With Wang Lin's cultivation, obtaining enough alum crystals was easy. As he walked through the city, his primordial spirit split, merging with his feet and swiftly sweeping through the ground. Unnoticed, he located an alum crystal vein hidden deep underground. After circling it, he absorbed part of the vein's energy. When his primordial spirit returned to his body, a large amount of alum crystals had been stored in his spatial pouch. Wang Lin walked casually through the city without using his divine abilities. He slowly made his way to the western part of the city, where the houses were densely packed and the streets were dilapidated. The buildings looked as though they hadn't been repaired in ages, covered in dirt and grime. What struck him as odd was that nearly every house had a string of tree leaves hanging from the eaves, a peculiar local custom. The people here were mostly dressed simply, walking briskly. Wang Lin's arrival didn't draw attention from the locals. After searching around, he easily found some houses for sale. He chose a place in the most densely populated area and purchased a house. This house was located in the middle of a street, with a large tree outside. Under the tree was a food stall selling noodles and rice wine. The poor could not afford wine from taverns, so they would eat noodles here and drink some rice wine to fill their stomachs. As dusk approached, the sky darkened. It was dinner time, and the area was lively with neighbors chatting loudly. Children played, throwing small stones around on the ground. Wang Lin sat in front of his new house, smiling as he observed everything around him. After buying the house, many neighbors came over to talk to him. He was very kind to these simple mortals, and after a conversation, Most of the neighbors learned that Wang Lin was a scholar here to prepare for the imperial exams and had rented this house because he couldn't afford a guest house. As the sky grew darker, the smoke from cooking fires rose in the air. The tired men who had been chatting all day slowly headed home, and the area quieted down. The moonlight appeared faintly, and under the large tree in front of the food stall, an elderly man bent over as he watched two young assistants pack up, preparing to leave. Holding a pipe, he took a puff and glanced at Wang Lin, who was gazing at the sky. He then picked up a wine flask and walked toward Wang Lin. "Little one, the night is cold. Here, take this flask of rice wine. Drink it to warm yourself before you study. If you ever make it big, just pay me back for the wine." The elderly man smiled as he tossed the flask to Wang Lin and turned, taking his assistants away. Wang Lin shook the wine flask in his hand, and there was still half a flask of wine inside. With a smile, he glanced at the direction the old man had left, feeling calm in his heart. In fact, compared to the cruel cultivation world, Wang Lin preferred this kind of life. The moonlight gradually deepened, and the cold wind slowly arrived. A faint wailing sound echoed in the wind, blowing through the street, making the leaves hanging from the roofs on both sides of the houses rustle, swaying in the breeze. The wind was very cold, especially with the moonlight blending in. It carried a chill that stirred small pebbles on the street, blowing them away with the wind. Dust was also stirred up, making everything in sight seem as though it were in a fog. In the night, every household had already lit oil lamps. The light from the lamps poured out from the houses, casting a dim, yet poetic atmosphere. Wang Lin stood up, holding the wine flask, silently looked around, then turned and walked into his house. The house was very simple, but extremely clean. When he closed the door, the howling wind outside seemed to be shut off from another world, and the faint sound of it was almost inaudible. Lighting a lamp, the flickering candle light made the simple house feel warm, dispelling the previous darkness into the corners of the room, hiding it away. Here, even my mindset settles down. Wang Lin placed the wine flask next to the oil lamp, sitting cross-legged on one side. After taking a deep breath, he closed his eyes. At the moment his eyes closed, his primordial spirit inside his body rapidly circulated, releasing waves of powerful primordial energy. The collision inside his body was like violent waves crashing, yet on the outside, there was not the slightest sound or disturbance. Wang Lin remained calm, sitting cross-legged. But the candlelight, as if blown by a gentle wind, flickered. The figure of Wang Lin under the candlelight also twisted along with it. In Wang Lin's mind, a shocking scene unfolded. 8 ancient thunder dragons roared and struggled, trying to break free from his primordial spirit and escape. But for them, Wang Lin's primordial spirit was like a prison. No matter how hard they tried to break free, they couldn't move even a fraction. To refine and completely absorb the souls of these 8 ancient thunder dragons was not an easy task, even with Wang Lin's current cultivation level. It required constant ritual refining. Fortunately, besides the thunder origin, he also possessed the flame origin. Thus, while the 8 ancient thunder dragons struggled, Wang Lin's primordial spirit immediately released a vast sea of blue flames, spreading throughout his primordial spirit and completely surrounding the 8 thunder dragons, starting to burn and refine them furiously. Within the blue flame sea, the vermilion bird phantom flickered, rotating around the 8 ancient thunder dragons. At times, it spat out large amounts of fire, intensifying the refining power. Wang Lin's primordial spirit was originally composed of half an ancient thunder dragon. At this moment, during the flame sea refinement, lightning and thunder surged within his primordial spirit, transforming into the 9th thunder dragon, his own. It circled and locked its gaze on the 8 thunder dragons being refined, waiting for an opportunity to devour them in one go. As time slowly passed, the souls of the 8 ancient thunder dragons let out sorrowful howls within the blue flames. These howls were completely isolated within the primordial spirit, shut off from Wang Lin's body, not a single sound escaping. Wang Lin's house, like the outside world, remained silent, without a single sound. As midnight approached, the lamps in each house gradually extinguished. Eventually, looking west across the city, only scattered lights remained, with the rest completely dark. The faint sound of knocking could be heard from the street outside, gradually growing into the sound of the night watchman, breaking the silence. However, it was not harsh. Rather, it blended into the stillness, almost like it was a part of it. The cold wave is coming, lights off, doors closed. The voice slowly faded away, and the outside world returned to its silence. But just at the moment when the night watchman departed, Wang Lin, sitting cross-legged inside the house, suddenly opened his eyes. A sharp gleam flashed in his eyes, and he raised his right hand to grasp the air. Instantly, the wine flask on the table appeared in his hand. He grabbed it and took a large gulp. The spicy wine entered his stomach, and immediately, warmth spread throughout his body, with a lingering spiciness in his mouth. Wang Lin's eyes suddenly closed again, and as he circulated his primordial energy, the wine in his stomach seemed to ignite, causing more flame power to surge within his body. All this flame power flowed into his primordial spirit, intensifying the blue flame sea. As it surged, the wine he had consumed seemed to be purged of impurities, leaving only the essence. It was forced out and spiraled into Wang Lin's primordial spirit, turning into fine rain that fell onto the flame sea. In that instant, the flame sea exploded violently, burning more fiercely, with its internal temperature skyrocketing. The flames roared, and one of the 8 ancient thunder dragons let out a tragic scream. The primordial thunder dragon trembled, its body consumed by flames, and suddenly collapsed. Yet at the very instant of its destruction, the 9th primordial thunder dragon, Wang Lin's essence spirit in disguise, charged in from the perimeter where it had been waiting all along. In a flash of lightning, it darted forward and inhaled mightily. The disintegrating dragon lost all resistance, completely devoured and refined by Wang Lin, becoming an inseparable part of his being. Inside the house, Wang Lin sat cross-legged. A faint flush colored his face, as if he had just consumed something extraordinarily nourishing. His eyes remained closed, yet on his right eyelid, a lightning sigil faintly pierced through the skin, swelling rapidly in brilliance. The room was quiet, but the candle flame on the table flickered violently, casting Wang Lin's shadow in strange, twisting shapes. Moments later, with a soft pop, the candle extinguished. The entire room was plunged into sudden darkness, indistinguishable from the world outside. Only the faint glow of the lightning sigil on Wang Lin's eyelid continued to shimmer. Within his essence spirit, of the 8 obstinate primordial thunder dragons, only 7 now remained. They thrashed and roared in agony under the raging sea of flames. But the fire, designed to refine all things, had changed. No longer spread evenly across 8 dragons, it now concentrated into 7 portions, intensifying several times over for each remaining dragon. Under such relentless burning, the dragon's wails echoed with torment. Before long, another one crumbled and was instantly devoured by the thunder dragon form of Wang Lin's essence spirit. Riding the momentum, Wang Lin's thunder dragon surged forward, diving straight toward the remaining 6 dragons. Bolstered by the sea of flames, it clashed, bit, and tore at them with ferocity. Night gradually passed. The first light of dawn stretched over the land, stirring the slumbering city awake. But this morning's sun came late, its rays blocked by heavy, oppressive clouds left behind by the retreating night. The sky hung dark and dim. A low rumble of thunder rolled from the clouds, and then, abruptly, a fine, drenching rain began to fall. Wang Lin opened his eyes from meditation. Out of 8 primordial thunder dragons, I've devoured and fused 7. Only one remains. A gleam of determination flashed in his gaze. Within the house, the sharp patter of rain on the roof was unmistakable. The water cascaded from the eaves like a curtain, forming a wall of rain. It stirred a subtle feeling within him. The strands of hanging leaves beneath the eaves rustled as the rain fell, blending seamlessly with the rain curtain in a harmonious rhythm. The earth, harsh for some time, was immediately washed clean by the downpour. Dust clouds rose briefly, only to be shattered by the relentless rain, falling back to the ground as muddy puddles. People hurried by, clad in straw raincoats, heads bowed against the storm. Though it was raining heavily, daylight had arrived, time to begin their daily labor. Children clung to windows, reaching out to touch the rain, their joyous laughter carrying far through the downpour. This rain had come because of Wang Lin. He pushed open the door. A gust of damp wind carried raindrops into his face, cool and refreshing. Lifting his eyes to the sky, he saw the world blanketed in rain and thunderclouds. As he watched, a lightning bolt split the heavens, followed by an earth-shaking thunderclap that rumbled like a rolling explosion. It seemed distant at first, then suddenly thundered so close it startled the children, sending them scrambling away from the windows. Wang Lin remained calm. He picked up his wine flask, took a sip, and smiled faintly as he gazed out at the mortal world before him, a world so familiar. The scenes of daily life, especially the children, stirred old memories. Once, on Vermilion Birdstar, he too had crouched by a window, watching the rainfall. He had reached out a hand, letting raindrops land on his palm, his young laughter full of innocence and joy. Unknowingly, It's been almost 2,000 years. Cultivators lose track of time. Few truly remember their age. As for me, I can no longer recall how old I am. Holding the wine flask, Wang Lin took another sip, a hint of melancholy in his expression. The chill and the rain pierced the air. It drifted into the house, soaking Wang Lin's clothes and seeping into the room. After a moment's silence, just as he was about to close the door, something made him pause. Slowly, he looked up toward the sky. The storm clouds above still churned, the rain still poured, blocking all sight, capable of shredding even divine vision, but not Wang Lin's. To him, nothing could obstruct his gaze. He saw, far above the storm, in the clear skies beyond the clouds, two streaks of sword light cutting across the heavens. Within those sword lights were a man and a woman. The man wore a blue robe, strikingly handsome, his cultivation nearly at the level of a glimpse of Nirvana cultivator. The woman beside him was graceful and elegant, dressed in a phoenix-colored garment, her features delicate and refined, exuding an air of nobility. Beneath them, there was a rolling sea of dark clouds. From their position, they could clearly see the lightning streaking through the clouds, and the thunder rumbled violently. Xun'er, the tribe has issued an urgent summons. Something big must have happened. Your cultivation is insufficient. Don't be reckless. The woman in the colorful robes looked at the man gently and spoke in a soft voice. I'll listen to you. I just wonder what has happened to cause the elders to issue such an urgent call. This is very rare. The man's expression was serious, and he too had the same doubts. Just as he was about to speak, he suddenly looked up toward the distance. Raising his left hand, he blocked the woman, and they stopped midair. A black wind howled toward them from the distant clouds. The black wind originally seemed to be heading in the same direction as the man and woman, but it appeared to have sensed their presence and abruptly changed direction, rushing toward them. In an instant, the black wind closed in rapidly. With a sudden sweep, a young man in black emerged from within the wind. His expression was cold as his gaze locked onto the woman named Xun'er, standing still. You greets Brother Zhou. The man who was standing protectively in front of his companion's eyes narrowed slightly and cupped his hands in greeting. Little sister greets Brother Zhou, the woman in colorful robes said, offering a soft smile as she spoke. The young man in black, Zhou, had a complicated look on his face. He withdrew his gaze and turned to the blue-clad man beside Xun'er, coldly saying, the entire Lightning Thunder clan has been annihilated. Their grand elder has fallen and gone missing. This was confirmed by the Council of Elders, who issued the Ancient Star Decree to inform all clans. This urgent summons from the tribe is to announce the order of the Council of Elders. Furthermore, the Grand Diviner Yin Luo, using the starry divination technique, has calculated the image and spiritual imprint of the person who destroyed the Lightning Thunder clan and killed their Grand Elder. The Elders have scattered to begin the search, issuing the ancient 10,000 spirit seal to hunt him down. This matter is immense. We may even need to search beyond this cultivation star, so be careful. What? The man surnamed Yu's face changed dramatically, disbelief in his eyes. The woman beside him also showed shock. But the Grand Elder of the Lightning Thunder clan was rumored to have reached the fifth decay of heaven and man. Only a third-step great power could have destroyed him. Could it be that the killer is a third-step great power? And the entire Lightning Thunder clan, with tens of thousands of people and so many powerful experts, how could they all be annihilated? Also, the Lightning Thunder clan was said to possess an indestructible thunderbolt that has existed since ancient times. This. The young man in black was about to turn and leave but paused upon hearing their words, turning back with cold eyes. The details are unclear. But the decree from the Council of Elders said that the Lightning Thunder clan's indestructible thunderbolt was devoured by this person. The entire ancient realm is now searching for him, and the Elders have sent out teams to locate him. Beneath the dark clouds, in the rain-soaked city, Wang Lin withdrew his gaze from the door, his expression calm as he shut it and sat cross-legged beside it. His eyes flickered with a faint gleam, murmuring, they found out so quickly. The Council of Elders. It seems my time is running short. I must refine the last Thunder Dragon and merge with the indestructible thunder as soon as possible. Wang Lin closed his eyes in silence, merging with his primordial spirit. Beneath the towering flames within, he refined the final Thunder Dragon. As time passed, the rain outside grew heavier. The entire sky was enveloped by dark clouds, casting a dim pall over the city. Even by noon, no sunlight pierced the clouds. After hours of refining, Wang Lin's primordial spirit burned with fierce flames. As the flames surged, the final Thunder Dragon, unable to resist any longer, cried out in agony before collapsing, its essence quickly absorbed by Wang Lin's primordial spirit. At this moment, all 8 ancient thunder dragons were fully integrated into Wang Lin, becoming a part of him. His primordial spirit surged, the flames dissipating, replaced by boundless thunder. Among the 5 fundamental origins within his body, the thunder origin rapidly expanded, growing explosively, shaking the heavens and the earth. Slowly, Wang Lin's primordial spirit transformed, no longer resembling a thunder dragon but instead becoming a lightning bolt. A bolt of lightning connecting heaven and earth. The heavens above became Wang Lin's head, and the earth below his feet. This lightning, like the indestructible thunder of the Lightning Thunder Clan, became eternal. At the moment when the lightning fully formed, the clouds above the sky rumbled. The storm intensified, and the thunder within the clouds seemed to roar in fury. The entire cultivation star could hear the earth-shattering thunder coming from the clouds. In the eastern imperial city, several elderly men in Taoist robes stood on a high tower. Each of them possessed cultivation equal to the pure nirvana stage, and one, with white hair, had reached the shattered nirvana stage. They stood on the tower, watching the swirling dark clouds and listening to the thunder, their expression strange. This rain came unexpectedly, and the thunder is unusually intense. But when we joined forces to sweep with our spiritual sense, we found no trace of anything unusual. Perhaps we're just overthinking, said an elder beside him in a deep voice. Sai, the Lightning Thunder Clan, such a powerful family, was wiped out, and even the great elder fell victim to foul play. Hearing about this, and now seeing this lightning, I can't shake the feeling of unease. Maybe I'm just imagining things. The shattered Nirvana elder shook his head, not saying another word. Regardless of who that person is, with the ancient star decree in effect, as soon as their whereabouts are discovered, death is certain. In the eastern part of this cultivation star, there stretched a vast range of mountains. Here, the True Word Clan's mountain gate was located. Unlike the Lightning Thunder Clan, the True Word Clan was a small family, occupying a single cultivation star, much like a sect in the inner realm. At this moment, atop one of the peaks within the True Word Clan's mountain gate, a figure stood silently. The person had white hair, looking incredibly aged. He gazed into the distance, and after a long while, sighed softly and muttered to himself, "Why do I always feel like disaster is approaching?" Wang Lin knew time was running out. After completely devouring the 8 primordial thunder dragons, he immediately released the indestructible thunder sealed within his body. As soon as it appeared, the indestructible thunder immediately tried to break free from Wang Lin's body. However, the moment it moved, Wang Lin's essence spirit became a flash of lightning and collided with the indestructible thunder, beginning an intense devouring struggle. The indestructible thunder violently resisted, carrying with it a will, like a cultivator's divine sense. Within the devouring and struggling, it fought against Wang Lin. Fuse with me and become part of my essence spirit, allowing my Thunder Dao origin to reach perfection. Under the companion thunder, I'll break through the heavens and increase my cultivation. Wang Lin's divine sense swept out like a storm, tearing through the indestructible thunder's resistance. Taoist arts, merge. Wang Lin's eyes snapped open, and within his right pupil, 2 distinct lightning origin marks rapidly rotated, giving him an eerie, almost otherworldly appearance.